What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, there was quite a big piece of news that came out of the Lions organization on Saturday evening, and of course, as everybody by now knows, the Detroit Lions are sending franchise quarterback Matt Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams, and in return, they are getting quite the haul of picks and a particular starting quarterback. Now, before we get into the trade, before we get into the details, the positives, the negatives, and what this means for the Detroit Lions, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying this Detroit Lions content, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes just 2 seconds out of your day to do so. It's quick, it's free, it's easy. It would help the channel out more than you could know. So if you could do that, take those 2 seconds to like and subscribe. I'd be super appreciative for it. But with all that being said, and without any further ado, let's get into the trade of Matt Stafford and the franchise-changing trade that happened over the weekend. Now, as I mentioned, on Saturday evening, late into the night, the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams announced that they have finalized the trade, sending quarterback Matt Stafford to be a Los Angeles Ram, and in return for their former franchise quarterback, the Detroit Lions will be receiving a 2022 first-round pick, a 2023 first-round pick, a 2021 third-round selection, and franchise quarterback or former quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams, Jared Goff. Now, in my opinion, the Detroit Lions actually won this trade. I love Matt Stafford, and I think for what the Rams are trying to accomplish in a win-now situation, trying to capitalize on the situation they have with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey and now Matt Stafford, they have a very win-now roster. They have a very win-ready roster, so they're trying to capitalize right now, and for what they are trying to do, they, from their perspective, did win this trade, as they are getting a very big upgrade over Jared Goff in Matt Stafford. They're getting a better quarterback with a better contract to go into the future with. And in my opinion, Matt Stafford could still have 2, 3, maybe even 4 good prime years of play left in him to get that Super Bowl that him and the Rams have been searching for such a long time. However, from a Lions perspective, I do believe the Lions won this trade. I do believe we got more value out of Matt Stafford than he was necessarily worth. Not that he wasn't worth 2 first-round picks, but I did not believe the Lions were going to be able to get more than a first and a third out of Stafford, and they ended up getting 2 firsts, a third, and a starting quarterback. So in my opinion, we got more value for Stafford than I had us pegged, and we got more value for Stafford than I thought we were going to get. So from that perspective, I do believe we won the trade, and from that perspective, I do believe the Lions got more value out of Matt Stafford than they probably should have, likely because there was a large bidding war for Matt Stafford, with several teams being involved within the trade talks with Detroit. Now, as far as the picks go, I already mentioned it, but I will go over it yet again and kind of talk about the draft, where we sit now and for the next couple of years. As I said, in return for Matt Stafford, the Detroit Lions, in terms of picks, received 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick, which again is more than fair value for Matt Stafford. Now, with that being the case, the Detroit Lions now have 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years. The fact that they are picks in 2022 and 2023 are actually better than they would be in this class. The Detroit Lions are in for a long-term rebuild at this point. Whether you like it or not, whether you want it to be the case or not, with the trading of Matt Stafford, the Lions are in a full rebuild, and it will likely take them 2 or 3 seasons before they are competitive yet again. And if they continue to build on the right pieces, if they continue to bring the right guys in the building, they will be competitive in 2 to 3 years. I think they have a couple young pieces in place with the right drafting, with the right management, with the right cap management, with the right team management, with the right GM and the right decisions being made. This Lions team can be competitive in 2 or 3 seasons, but as I said, that is 2 or 3 seasons away. So the fact that we have picks later, a season, 2 seasons down the line, we have more picks then versus now is even better, because then we'll have younger talent as the team gets more competitive. Not only that, but Brad Holmes and John Dorsey and Ray Agnew and all the people in the front office will have more time to evaluate this team, will have more time to work out out contracts, will have more time to bring in talent. And as this team continues to get competitive, as this team continues to grow and develop and get better as the 2021 season goes on, as the 2022 season goes on, and as the 2023 season begins, this team will continue to grow and get more competitive. And the more picks we have later on the line is only going to help with the rebuild. And, obviously the Rams did not have a first to give away this year, as they've already given that pick away to Jacksonville. But I actually like the fact that we have our picks in the future, because it's only going to help this rebuild progress faster as time goes along. It's only going to help this rebuild go quicker and faster. And by the time this Lions team gets competitive, they're going to have 4 first-round picks on the roster in the past 2 seasons. Hopefully those first-round picks are competitive. Hopefully those first-round picks are hits. If all 4 of them are hits, that's 4 first-round picks you're adding to the roster. That's another third-round pick this year, along with 2021's first. And, this team is now in a position in the draft where they can be competitive and they can run the draft for a very long time. And Jared Goff, the quarterback, the only part that Lions fans are a little against, is actually a bigger part of this trade that I think people realize. As I said, in the trade, the Detroit Lions also received quarterback Jared Goff. And yes, Jared Goff is a downgrade from Matt Stafford. And I'm not saying Jared Goff is the quarterback of the future. I'm not saying he's going to be, and I'm not even saying he's a upgrade at quarterback for us now. However, I do believe Jared Goff gives the Lions everything they need to run this year's draft class, along with the next couple of drafts as time goes on. Now, what I mean by this is, without Jared Goff, the Detroit Lions were almost forced to take a quarterback at number 7. No matter who fell, they were either going to have to trade up to get the guy they wanted, or they were going to be forced to take the 4th quarterback off the board, likely being Trey Lance, unless something crazy happened. Now, fast forward a couple of days, you have Jared Goff on the roster now, so that not only gives you flexibility in the draft to not be forced to take a quarterback at 7, that gives the Lions the option to either take the best player available on the board, making the team even stronger than it is, or you have the option, if you're the Detroit Lions, to trade down a couple spots and get even more capital to continue to get this rebuild going. If you trade down from 7 to, say, 10 with Dallas or 12 with San Francisco, you can get a very big haul with that number 7 pick. Or, if you want to go somewhere else with a team that needs a quarterback, maybe you got Washington trading up, maybe you got Indianapolis trading up, they will give you even more of a haul of picks to move up ahead of other teams that need a quarterback so they can get their guy. So with the addition of Jared Goff, who in my opinion at his floor, at his very worst, is a top 20 quarterback in the NFL, with the addition of Jared Goff, the Lions are allowed flexibility in the draft to take either best player available or trade down in the draft. And if they trade down in the draft, they can get 3, 4, maybe even 5 picks out of a desperate team looking for that 4th quarterback off the board, looking for the last of the big 4 quarterbacks in the draft. And with the Lions in their current situation, they could take a quarterback. Now they have the luxury of being able to take a top wide receiver. Now they have the luxury of being able to trade down if they want to. Now they have the luxury of picking best player available if they want to. The Detroit Lions now, with the trade of Jared Goff and adding Jared Goff to the roster, gives them a stable veteran quarterback for at least 4 seasons, and that gives the Lions so much flexibility in the draft, not only this year, but for the next couple of draft classes, that they can truly control the way this draft goes. They can truly control the way that the draft plays out, because at this point, they have a decent starting quarterback. I'm not going to say above average, but I'll say a decent starting quarterback in Jared Goff, and they have the 7th overall pick, with likely there being a big name quarterback prospect on the board at their spot. There are going to be teams calling about the number 7 pick, and the Lions are going to have a lot of different options when it comes to trading down. And from that perspective, they can accumulate picks both this year and next year and the year after that, and they can just continue to get picks after picks after picks after picks. And come 2022, come 2023, the Lions will control the draft because they will have so much capital in the draft. And likely, come 2023, you could get Trey Flowers' contract off, you could maybe get, Big V's contract off the books. Come 2023, 2022 even, the Lions will have a lot more cap space, and they will have a ton of capital if they play their cards right with the addition of Jared Goff. Moving on to Jared Goff specifically as the quarterback, because I know this is where a lot of people have problems with this trade. They do not like Jared Goff. And as I said, I view Jared Goff as a top 20 quarterback. I don't know if I'd go much higher than that. I think on his good days, Jared Goff could be considered 15 to 12 maybe, on his best days. But on his worst days, Jared Goff is probably closer to 20, probably closer to 19, 20 in the quarterback rankings. But having a top 20 quarterback in the NFL, that might sound bad, right? There's 32 teams. If you have a top 20 quarterback, that's below average. Top 20 quarterbacks aren't even easy to come across, right? I mean, even with the Jared Goff trade, we still have the second best quarterback in the division. I will still take Jared Goff over Mitch Trubisky. I'll still take Jared Goff over Nick Foles. I'll still take Jared Goff over even Kirk Cousins. So even with trading away Matt Stafford, the Lions are still in a position where they have the second best quarterback in the NFC North right now, only behind Aaron Rodgers, and Jared Goff isn't even that bad of a quarterback. I mean, you got Jared Goff, who was a two-time Pro Bowler, in 2018 and 2019. You have a guy in Jared Goff that in his short career so far has 18,000 passing yards, 107 passing touchdowns, and 55 interceptions, and those numbers and the touchdown interception ratio would be much better and significantly improved if he didn't have Jeff Fisher as his head coach for the rookie season, and if Jeff Fisher did not hold him back the first year of his career. Now, with that being the case, obviously Jared Goff is not the greatest quarterback. He's not going to be better than Matt Stafford, most likely. However, the NFL and Jared Goff's time in the NFL has shown that in the right system, Jared Goff can be effective. In the right system, with the right players around him, with the correct play calls, and with, giving Jared Goff the ability to make easy, quick decisions and get the ball out of his hands, Jared Goff can be successful in the NFL. There is a reason Jared Goff has 2 seasons with over 4,600 passing yards. There is a reason Jared Goff was a quarterback that went to a Super Bowl. There is a reason the Rams were able to be successful with Jared Goff. And although Jared Goff's ceiling might not be as high as Matt Stafford, it might not be as high as Zach Wilson or Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence or even Trey Lance, Jared Goff can win in the NFL. He has proven that in the NFL. Regardless of what you want to say, regardless if you want to say he can't read defenses, he can't make his own plays, he can't call his own plays. Maybe he's not the smartest quarterback. Maybe he doesn't make the best decisions off platform. Maybe he's not the best at improvising. All of those are valid arguments. However, Jared Goff, if he has proven anything in the NFL, it's that in the right system, you can win with Jared Goff. And if the Lions run the ball effectively, if Anthony Lynn gives Jared Goff quick, easy decisions, easy reads, gives him quick things to look at, bootlegs, a successful running game, Jared Goff can be a successful quarterback in Detroit. Detroit is not a death sentence for Jared Goff like many believe, and Jared Goff is not going to just come here and fold over and, cry about it. He's not just going to fold over and be a bad quarterback all of a sudden. Jared Goff will still be a decent quarterback in Detroit. With the right system around him, the Detroit Lions can very much and very easily win with Jared Goff at the helm. And although a lot of people might not like Jared Goff, he is still a very capable quarterback in the NFL. Again, with Sean McVay, Jared Goff was still able to go to a Super Bowl, still have a winning record as a quarterback. Jared Goff can be successful in the NFL with the right system and with the right players surrounding him. Now it's up to the coaches of Detroit to put him in a situation and put him in a scenario where he is going to find the same success he saw early with Sean McVay. I think a lot of the problem people have with this trade is obviously Jared Goff, but more so than just him being an average quarterback, a lot of people have trouble with the contract because admittedly, we are getting Jared Goff as a lesser quarterback than Matt Stafford with a worse contract than Matt Stafford. In fact, in 2021, we will be paying Jared Goff $27 million. In 2022, we'll be paying $25 million. In 2023, we will be paying $25 million as well. And in 2024, that will jump to $26 million, which is a lot of money for a below average quarterback, I will admit. However, that is not an end-all be-all. And as ugly as that cap situation, as ugly as that contract may look right now, there are a lot of ways to move around that contract. I mean, if you look at Jared Goff, first off, the Rams are paying Jared Goff's signing bonus this year, so we're not even paying his whole contract. Not only that, the Detroit Lions after 2022, if Jared Goff does not play well for 2 years, if we have Jared Goff as the starter for 2 seasons in Detroit and he is not playing well, we can release him for a big gain, obviously getting that $25 million off the books. However, the penalty will only be $8.5 million. And if you go just another year down the line, say say he doesn't play well in year 3, you can cut him, save that $26 million for next year, and only have a $1.2, I believe, million cap hit. So yes, Jared Goff's contract is large. Yes, Jared Goff will restrict the Lions in what they can do in free agency, likely this year and probably next year. However, either the Lions are in a situation where either Jared Goff plays like a franchise quarterback, develops into a franchise quarterback, and becomes the next great quarterback of Detroit, and we keep him around for at least 4 years, if not longer, or Jared Goff doesn't play well. Jared Goff isn't the quarterback that Brett Holmes sees. Jared Goff isn't the franchise quarterback to take this team into the future, and after 2 or 3 seasons, we cut him with minimal penalty. It is not a bad situation for the Detroit Lions, and I know looking at Jared Goff's contract, it's a bad contract. It really, really is. It's not a great contract for the Detroit Lions to be taking on. However, come year 2, come year 3, Jared Goff can be cut from this Detroit Lions team if he's not playing well. And a lot of people, including myself at this point, believe the Lions won't be competitive for 2 or 3 years down the line anyway. So regardless of if Jared Goff plays well year 1 and year 2, that's irrelevant because more likely than not, they won't be super competitive in the NFC. But come year 3, either you have a very bona fide, very solidified starting quarterback that's playing well for your franchise, or you have a young, up-and-coming rookie quarterback to come in that can take over, and you can cut Jared Goff or trade Jared Goff with very minimal consequence. So truly, looking at this trade from every single angle, the Detroit Lions won this trade. They got more than fair value for Matt Stafford. They're getting a quarterback that at his very worst, on his very worst days, is a top 20 quarterback, a 2-time Pro Bowler, a Super Bowl appearing quarterback, a quarterback that has proven that he can be successful in the right system. And again, the worst part about this trade is Jared Goff's contract, and when you're looking at ways to deal with Jared Goff's contract, it's truly not even that bad of a contract, and it's not like it's something the Lions can't take care of and something the Lions can't manage going into the future. So with all that being said, that is kind of my takeaway. That's kind of my review of this trade. Again, I think both sides won this trade. I think even all 3 parties, if you want to include Matt Stafford, won this trade. You know, you look at Matt Stafford's going to a winning team. The Lions get an absolute haul and a potential franchise quarterback in their trade, and the Rams get a very bona fide, in my opinion, top 10 starter in the NFL to take them likely over the hump and get them back to a Super Bowl appearance and hopefully a Super Bowl championship. Now, with all that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. This is a fantastic move by the Lions front office, and if this to me is what a front office should look like. This is what a front office should be doing. A player is unhappy, so you not only help him out, you make him happy on his way out of Detroit, and you help yourself by getting a haul from the Los Angeles Rams, and you help all 3 parties out. This is what a front office looks like in Detroit. This is what it should look like, and this is what it is going to look like for Detroit moving into the future. And if this trade is any indication of what the future looks like in Detroit, Lions fans should be extremely excited for what's to come. Now, with all that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below about the Stafford trade. Do you think the Lions won? Do you think the Rams won? Do you think it's a win-win situation? Do you think Stafford's going to do well in LA? Let me know all that down in the comments below. However, with all that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Again, very big blockbuster trade in the NFL, and the Lions are starting over with a new quarterback, a new regime, and another rebuild. With all that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching. I will see you all tomorrow with more Lions content. Again, thank you all for watching. Bye, guys.